Hey friends, how you guys doing? I'm having a great day. The weather's still holding out. It's cooler. I got my Walker Saw Shop hat on, so I mean, what could go wrong? With me involved, you never know, friends. I'm just fired up today. Been getting lots of good emails, lots of good correspondence. Keep them coming, fellas and ladies. I've had a couple of ladies email me actually. That's awesome. Friends, I want to talk about something today. The dreaded crank seal. I get so many emails. You guys, you put crank seals in, you drive them in crooked. How far do you seat them? They're leaking. You can't get them over the lip on the crankshaft. We're going to do a crank seal today. I don't think I've ever done this on video. These things used to drive me nuts, and then I never knew if they were good after. This case has a scratch in it. We're going to deal with that today too. I'm going to show you guys what I'll do if a case has a little scratch. This one's on the bottom. It's got a little gouge. I don't know what from. Maybe somebody pulled a crank seal out before. These magnesium cases are easily marred. That's why I heat the cases up before I push the bearings out, because they just fall out basically. So I'm going to bring you guys in close here. This is the 268 giveaway saw. Let's do the flywheel side crank seal with a scratch in the case, and let's see if we can drive it in, and I'll show you guys on video how I do it. It's really easy. You don't need fancy tools. If you have the proper installation tools, that's going to make your life easier. I'm too all over the place. I work on too many different saws that I don't have the fancy installation tools, but I'm going to show you guys how I do them, and let's go from there. I'm going to set you guys up close, and let's have a look at this crankcase. Okay, friends, so we have our bottom end assembled. I've oiled the bearings. They feel great. There's no side load. What do we do after that? Well, we got to put these darn things in. And let me tell you, these things can be a headache. I buy them by the bag. That way, if I mess one up, and it does happen, I have 15, 20 more to mess up in a row. You can never, if you buy one seal, you will mess it up every time. At least I do. Now, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to get the oil and grease out of here. Okay. We want this real clean. Okay. Dump it all over our fancy antique plywood top. I'm just kidding. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see it. See this? I'm going to put your light on here, guys. See that little mark? Right there. That little dark spot? That's a mark in the case. I'm going to blow this out, and let's talk about that mark. This does happen to old saws. Okay, just take your blowgun. Okay, clean and dry. Now, that little mark could be the death of us. It really could. We don't know, right? Adam donated this saw to us, and it was scrapped. It needed a bottom end. Typically at a dealership, if it needs a bottom end, it's game over. Now, that scratch, think about it, friends. This is a precision fit, right? You drive it into the case. That scratch could, and I'm not saying it will, but it could leak. And if it does leak, we're going to have an air leak. We're going to have a saw that doesn't tune. It's going to run lean. So, again, that little scratch. And it goes almost to the end. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to clean this off good. Again, a little brake clean. Now that we sprayed off the case, let's get it covered in brake clean again. Okay, we're going to blow it off. I'm just having fun, friends. I'm always having fun when I'm in the shop. That's why I do this. It's fun. I don't take myself seriously. I take building saws seriously, but I really don't take myself seriously, because that's no fun. Just a fellow working on power saws. Okay, so we need to drive this in. Okay, now think about it. There is a spring right there on the back side of the seal. There's a spring. This is a tapered fitting, or a tapered shaft. Okay, friends, so what you want to do when you first start, okay, you want to get it flat and level. You guys see that? It's a little bit cocked there, okay? You want to get it started straight. Some cases are harder than others, okay? Now, I usually oil the lip to get it on. If you're doing this side, okay? See that? That is this right here, okay? It's almost flat. That is almost impossible. If you try and drive this seal, now this seal is held by the oil pump on this saw. If you put this seal in the oil pump and just bolt the oil pump down, you will fold this lip over, okay? You will catch it, you will roll it over, and that spring will come out. That's called a prolapsed seal. You won't even know you did it till you fire the saw up, okay? So, if you are doing this side, what I want you guys to do, piece of pop can, cut a strip, roll it around there, and make a cone, okay? And then slide your seal over the cone, right? And hold the cone. Okay, and as you're putting the oil pump on, hold that cone, and that will guide the seal over this lip, and you won't prolapse the seal. And then when it's seated, just pull the cone out. Make sense? So, but we're not doing that side today. We're going to do this side. So we got to service the oil pump. So, I'm going to sit back down here, guys, but I'm going to show you guys what I do, because sometimes you get a scratch there. And like I said, it might not leak, but it could. I'm going to use a little extra insurance in this saw to make sure it doesn't leak. Okay, friends, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to put a thin layer of Moto Seal around the entire outside of the seal. That should fill that little gap from there. Now I'm going to push this down. Now, I have to get this started straight. This is where a lot of people go wrong, including myself. You really want to start these straight. I'll often push them in with my fingers. If you don't start them straight, often they will go in crooked. Now, what I often use is just a plastic seal driver, okay? It won't hurt anything. The key is you want something bigger than the case, okay? You want to drive it in straight. Often, if it doesn't go in straight right away, it's just going to get worse as you drive it in. So really pay attention to how far in you're driving it. Okay, now this one fits perfect with the crankcase, or the crank, okay? You see that? It's in all the way. It's flush with the case. That's about as far as we want to take it. We got a wasp buzzing around my face and the camera. There we go. Goodbye, Mr. Wasp is this. Okay, guys, all the way in. We don't want it in too far. We don't want it sticking out. It's flush with the case. That's where this one should be. Now, I'm going to wipe this off. You can see all that Moto Seal is pushing out around the periphery of the seal. Okay? That's what you want. That's perfect. Now we won't have any leaks in there. Now, the question is, how do you know if the seal's good? Look around the outside of it. Do you see it sticking out or any abnormalities? And also, when you turn the seal, there should be tension. Okay? That's why you really want to make sure your bottom end's good. Okay? There's good tension on this. It should not leak. But just like that. So, like I said, use something that's flat, a washer. These work really good because they're just perfect and they fit tight around the crank. That's what I like about them. The more you drive them on, the straighter they get, and then you really can't go wrong. But the most important thing, friends, you see this one here? This one started going in crooked and I broke it. Okay, I bent it. See how it's a little bent? So just be aware of that. It takes practice. All this stuff takes practice, friends. And it's funny, I wasn't born doing this stuff. This is just years of messing around with engines and power saws. You guys see that? Okay. If you drive it on this side, okay, if you drive it on this shoulder here, okay, I'm going to show you guys what happens. Okay, when you drive it on, it catches this lip and it'll roll the seal over. Okay, and then what happens is it rolls the seal in, creates a high spot, and then when you start to saw, it wears a hole in the seal. And or friends, here, let me get this out. Okay, this will pop out. So, and that's how you prolapse a seal. That's actually what holds the tension around it. Okay, so if you see this sticking out or it's weird, like, you know, and you don't want this to come out because this could get in your bearing. Very rare, but it does happen. So there you guys go. That's crank seals in a nutshell. It just takes practice. You can use a socket. The key is to look, have your eye level with the case so that when you're hitting it in, you can see if you're driving it crooked. You can see if that seal's going on crooked. If your seal's going on, if it starts like that, okay, and that's an exaggeration. If you start it like that, this end's going to grab this side. This side's going to be sticking out, and as you beat it in, you're going to warp the seal, just like that one. And I literally just did that, friends, so it happens to me. Okay, here's our oil pump for the 268. Now, if you are real careful, you can actually drive this from the inside out. Okay, if you don't, you got to take apart the oil pump. This screw is often seized or there's Loctite on there. They're really hard to get out. So this one is not budging. If I got to put a torch on it, I will, but I would prefer to not mess with this if possible, because often these screws can be stripped in there or they're just stuck. See this little screw here, and this holds the gear on. Okay, so what I usually do, I have an 18 millimeter socket here, and that grabs the inside of the seal, okay, perfectly flush against the face of the seal without touching the rubber. And what often I can do, if I play my cards right, okay, you push it down into there. Now if you get it going straight, okay, now we got it started, okay, and it's pretty much perfectly straight. Okay, now I'm going to finish it off with the same seal driver we did the other one with. Now the difference between these and the other side is this sticks out slightly past the oil pump body, okay? I'm just going to keep driving it in until that taper is in line, and I'm going to try not to lose all my oil pump parts here. We got lots of parts for these, but I like to replace parts when they're broken, not when I drop them on the floor. Okay, we're almost seated. Now another way you can do this is with the arbor press. And I have a nice arbor press, and it works great for this. Okay, a little bit more, and we should be home free. Right there. Now again, if you are worried that the seal is not in straight, take you a pair of calipers. Okay, take you a pair of calipers and measure. Okay, and measure how far it's in. Okay. See what we got there? 32 thousandths. See, it's a little bit off. On this side. There you guys go. It just drove home. Just that little smack. Okay, again, it does take a little longer without the fancy tools. 34. 33 and a half. There you go. See, guys, just like that. Now, again, when you are installing this threw me for a loop the first time I did a few of these. Look, you can't get this over. Okay, I'm going to zoom you guys in here. There we go. Can you guys see the seal? See that? See that edge there? There's your prolapse starting to happen. Okay, now if you can do this by hand, either the crank has wear on that shoulder or your seal is too loose. So, okay, now I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Okay, I got a little piece of cardboard here, like thin, it's like cardstock almost. See what I'm doing here? I'm making a cone. Now, slide this over, now watch. See that? No problem. Okay, and then you just gently pull it out. Okay, now normally I do this with a pop can. I don't drink pop anymore, so I don't have a pop can handy. But I'm just showing you guys, okay? See how easy that was? And then what you do is you would just gently pull this out. Now this is cardboard and it's going to rip, but you guys get the idea. Okay, see how easy that was? Now if you try and do it without that, look, it doesn't fit. That is the key on these to not having a crank seal leak. Okay, friends, I've been getting a lot of emails about crank seal installs lately, and it's like, why not do a video? So there you guys go. That's how you put crank seals in. If you have a lip on the crank, a lot of these Huskies do, some stills, get you a piece of aluminum out of a pop can, roll it around, hold it, and it'll slide on every time. If you don't do that, it will go on sometimes, but you might prolapse your seal, and then you're in trouble. You'll be, nothing's worse than firing up a saw that you've put all this work into, and then it doesn't run properly. That's very disheartening. I don't want that to happen to you guys. So, that's the key to success. And like I said, on the other side, make sure it starts straight. And if it starts straight, it should finish straight. Be very careful. Make sure you have more than one seal. That's the one thing I can say to you guys. Make sure you have more than one seal, because often you're going to wreck a seal. I wrecked one seal today. It's just the way it goes. Anyhow, friends, always happy to share info with you guys. Our 268 is coming along. We're going to time it today and go over numbers, and then we'll be porting this thing in no time. As always, friends, I always appreciate you guys coming here. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys know what to do there. And to those of you that have subscribed, I really appreciate you. That really helps the channel. Anyhow, as always, thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later, guys.